Okay, good. Okay, so hello everybody. Thanks for listening. This is Ben O'Grady here with BenO'Grady.com, and I'm speaking with Todd Garrett, who is in class 0033 San Diego GoRuck Challenge. How you doing today, Todd?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me, Ben.
Yep, my pleasure. So what we're going to do is just a short interview here and just ask Todd some questions and just have a conversation with Todd about his recent GoRuck experience, just to give the audience an idea of what it's like, maybe what training you might want to do, how to prepare yourself for it, and just let Todd talk about his experience with the GoRuck, since I know a lot of people that are reading the blog are interested in hearing about those things. So first off, Todd, if you could maybe just give us a rundown of the San Diego GoRuck Challenge, some highlights, lowlights. Just give us your thoughts. Just take us through it a little bit. What was it like?
Well, I wasn't really sure exactly how it was going to go, because I did hear that each of the classes are different, but there were some things that were predictable, if you will. After talking to you, and I had found you on one of the websites that you had wrote about or did a blog about the GoRuck. So I read that, and I kind of had a couple ideas. I did do some runs in preparation with a loaded backpack, but not to the extent that we did on this challenge.
Okay.
So we all met at 6 o'clock. We left at 6, and we got our rucksacks. And,
so is that 6 p.m. or 6 a.m.?
I'm sorry, 6 p.m.
Okay.
And we met in San Diego, and there were 27 to start. And we got our sacks, and literally, like minutes later, 15, 20 minutes later, we were out of there, and we took off on our challenge. And we all started off kind of scattered and ran like kind of wild animals. Huh. And then, Jason took off running, and we all just followed, and there was no formation, no anything. And then he basically lined us up, and with 27 we had an odd number, but we had two lines, two formations, and basically the Indian runs. If you're not familiar with that, you want to figure out how to do Indian runs, but I wasn't familiar with it. I wasn't in the military, and I think some classes get it earlier than others, but we didn't, and we paid by doing bear crawls. If you know how to do bear crawl, you'll learn that quick.
Yeah. Keep going.
And the bear crawls, as you know, your knees never touch the ground. You probably got, on average, you got your 20 pounds of bricks plus your gear, and if you got some added coupons, which you'll find out later, but that's some extra weight, most guys are carrying around 40 plus pounds. So you want to learn quick how to get into formation and do the Indian run. So, but we spent a lot of time on that, about an hour and a half, probably doing bear crawls until we got it right.
Wow.
And then we some lunges, and walking, and we were going up and down these dirt hills, and it was nighttime and gravelly, and so you want to get it right. So as we improved, we got to do some lunges, and we did that for probably a mile or so, or another 30 minutes, and then
wow,
we moved some logs. Where Jason came up on a couple of logs. There were two of them. We broke into two groups, and basically it comes down to you really do learn how to work together. You really do learn how to get it right quick. And what I mean by that is, who are your smaller guys, who are your bigger guys, getting on the logs and going to a formation and delivering it where he wants to.
Okay.
So
one thing that you said a little bit earlier, which I thought was interesting, is he added in coupons. Explain what that is exactly.
Coupons are part of the good living experience. Coupon is basically where you could get extra weight. Could be a coupon. A coupon is you're all required, I think, in most classes to bring a 25-pound weighted object.
Okay.
We had a 25-pound kettlebell, or kettle weight, excuse me, and that's a coupon. It's an extra weight, an extra task that you get to do. So it's a coupon. We also had a loaded ammo case. It was full of beer and ice, and the ammo case was about the size of a GR2 bag, or like a roll-on suitcase.
Okay.
And that thing was loaded up, and at no time could that ever touch the ground, nor could the 25-pound weight touch the ground.
Wow.
So those coupons that were in motion and part of the good living experience that we
wow.
when the funny thing is when you're managing those extra options, those extra coupons, you forget that you have that 40 pounds on your back.
Okay, that's awesome. So basically, when you're running, your guys are just passing these objects back and forth?
Well, what we did is we started part of working as a group. We determined that the best way to run 2 lines and to be efficient and to, because Jason had said it wasn't about speed, it was rather working together and doing it correct. That's the most important thing. We determined as a group that it would be best to keep those heavy objects, the 25-pound kettlebell or weight and the suitcase up to the front. That would set the cadence. So whenever you did the Indian runs and you got moved to the front, you would take one of those weights on and keep it until the next person came in front. And that's what allowed us to keep a good formation, to keep a good pace, and those things never touched the ground that way.
Awesome.
And if they did, you were doing push-ups or something else.
Okay. I think that's interesting because you may not be aware of this or not, but my class, and I believe the classes before ours, did not have anything like a coupon. We didn't have an ammo case or a kettlebell that we carried. So this is something that Jason's adding in, which, I think the future GoRuck classes, guys that are watching this, they need to be aware that he's changing things up. The challenges, they evolve, and they're all different. So expect the unexpected, I guess, is the rule there. Talk to us.
Also with time, to add on to that, Ben.
Yeah.
Because some guys are like, oh, this is going to go 8 hours, and by the way, you don't have a watch or an idea what time it is. Ours went like 13 and a half hours, and so just what you said. As Jason says, I like to under promise and over deliver.
That's awesome, man. 13 hours is pretty intense. I mean, my class was 10 hours. So, again, you got to be ready for anything. Talk to us a little bit.
But you guys probably learn quicker, how to get into formation and all that. And I think we had added time based on the fact that we were doing more bear crawls. And he didn't want to leave anything out. He wanted to get in our 20-plus miles a run,
Yep, get you guys the full experience. Sure.
Exactly.
Yeah. Talk to us a little bit about your training and preparation leading it up to GoRuck. Tell us what you think worked, what didn't work, and maybe just give a few thoughts to the audience about, how you might want to prepare for a challenge.
I wish I would have got more active with, there was a group, an LA group, and these guys met every week, and they were really good about it. I wasn't able to do the GoRuck challenge that they had, so I was going to San Diego. I live in LA, but these LA guys met, and I think it paid off tremendously. They had great camaraderie, from what I understand, right off the get-go. So if there's a group that's organized in your area, I would say that first. Read your blog. I noticed there's some more blogs now, and there's more information. I would run 35 to 45 miles a week because I'm training for marathons, so I stay, in condition. That helped me. It also helped me. You recommended, when I talked to you via email, getting a pack and doing some runs. I probably got in a dozen runs or so. I started with, I put these, I do scuba diving, but I had these sandbags that are neoprene covered, and I threw those in my pack. Probably better off starting with bricks, so you have the real, configuration. But I didn't know that's what we were going to do, or I really didn't pay attention, I guess. But I started with like 13 pounds, and I got up to 20 on a couple runs. And I never ran more than, I think, 8 miles. I did one where I got in the ocean, and I got a little bit sandy, and I finished it off with a couple miles. But that was the extent I did on that. But I was putting in a lot of miles running. 3 days a week, I'm doing 200 to 300 push-ups and sit-ups. So
cool. And
I also do Gracie Jiu-Jitsu 3 days a week. So that's a really good anaerobic workout. So
awesome.
A combination of that, it helped. Like I read one of the blogs, Joel, a guy that was in our class, said it's 90% mental and 90% fitness, because you got to have the fitness, but you got to have the mental drive to want to do it.
Right. Talk to us a little bit about the mental component. And I think this is especially important because there's a lot of guys like me and like you who found the GoRuck online, and we weren't sure if we wanted to do it. We were on the fence, and those guys are kind of like, they're hovering in the background, like, I'm not sure if I should do it, if I should just pull the trigger and click, yes, I'm going to do it. talk to us about the mental part of the whole challenge. Like, why is it so tough, and how you made it through that?
Yeah, that's a really good question. For me, once I discovered it, I couldn't let it go. I was bummed because I just missed. I guess they were in California when I first discovered it. Maybe it was even close to a year ago. I don't know, 6 months, 8 months ago. And I thought, gosh, can I travel to one of these? I kind of knew once I saw it that, gosh, I got to do this. That's just me. I thought this is competitive. I'm 46, so I'm at the higher end of the range probably for, a lot of the guys that are doing it. But age isn't a deterrent. It's really more up to the individual, and you'll do it as a team. We did have 2 dropouts, which I was surprised. These guys were every bit fit. One guy was a Navy rescue swimmer, and we were only a couple, 2-3 hours maybe from finishing. So I was really shocked on that. And what it really showed to me is that if you give up, you give up.
Wow.
It's not a question of fitness. Most of the guys that sign up all are runners, or they do Tough Mudders, or they do triathlons. It's a pretty fit group when you show up these things. So it's almost like a fat girl wearing tight jeans. If you have to ask if you're fat, you probably know you shouldn't be doing it. And, you answer that question yourself. Am I up for this? Am I fit? Running marathons probably isn't what you need, but doing lunges, you laid it out pretty good in your on your blog, I thought.
Cool. Was there a point in the challenge where you're like, man, I might not be able to finish this? Did you ever get to that point, or were you pretty solid all the way?
The first hour, actually, when we were doing bear crawls, I said I had the mindset that I was going to finish it, but when we were doing bear crawls, and after like an hour, I was thinking, man, this is, with that weight on my back, man, I felt my shirt and it was soaked, and it was cold out at night, it was like in the 50s, and I thought, man, this is really going to be the real deal. And at that point, I thought this is going to be challenging. But after that, aside from when the guys dropped out, I just thought, gosh, these guys are going to regret this later, But no, I think if you sign up for it, like Jason says, that's probably the hardest part is once you make that commitment, because I think most people show up prepared, and then as a group, you pull through. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Awesome. You think you'll do one of these in the future?
Absolutely. I was just looking on there, and I saw something about doing one September 11th in New York.
Yep.
One of our classmates, Joel, who wrote 2 great write-ups about, he did 33 and 34. He did 2 back-to-back GoRucks. And I definitely will do another one. I'm really looking at the Ascent, though. I'm trying to pull that off, and that's a 5-day event that's coming up in September.
Yeah, in Colorado.
Yeah, that looks great. And you raise money for a great cause, the Green Brave Foundation.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
Okay, very cool, man. Well, I think that's about time. We've got about 15 minutes in. Great questions, Great answers. Todd, I really appreciate you being on the call here and doing the interview. And we'll get the video online as soon as we can, and hopefully everybody can get a little taste of what GoRuck is like. But again, appreciate your time, and we'll definitely see you at a future GoRuck.
Hey, I just want to say one last thing. Good luck to all you guys that sign up, and I'll tell you, it's so rewarding. I've thought about it every day and all day, and I did it almost a week ago, and today when I was on my 16-mile run, I kept saying to myself, I was pushing myself just thinking about the event that we did. It carries over in your personal life and training, everything, and it's very rewarding.
Awesome. I appreciate it, Todd. Thanks a lot.
All right, Ben, thanks.
Yep, take it easy.